Learning objectives. After completing this module, you will be able to distinguish hominid and hominoids. Define Homo. List several species of Homo. Explain regional continuity model. Discuss replacement model. Explain different ways of obtaining food. Discuss gathering, scavenging and hunting. Explain early humans' tools. Explain different modes of communication.
Study of human origins. Introduction. There are many main resources available to us to study our prehistoric evolution. These include remains of human fossils, paintings found in the caves, and tools which were made out of stones. These provides a great opportunity to know more about the evolution of human species which are now extinct. To understand this, the fossils are dated for determination of their age through either direct chemical analysis or indirect dating of sediments found in the buried underground. A certain chain of conclusions is drawn based upon the observations. Apparently, in the earlier times, when evolution was not discovered, scientists and academicians believed the existence of any earlier form of humans did not exist, and that the modern human forms were the only one existed. However, Charles Darwin's study on evolution gave a fresh outlook on this proposition in his book On the Origin of Species. He gave a distinct explanation on how the earlier forms of humans transformed and evolved into the modern days human beings. The precursors of modern human beings 1. Hominids versus hominoids. Hominoids are species known for their smaller brain. In other words, they are the size of their brain is smaller when compared to a standard human brain. Besides this, they are quadrupeds, that is, they use all their limbs to walk around. On the other hand, hominids have brains which are larger in size. The other feature that makes them distinct is their ability to walk on two legs, also called bipedal. This ability gives them the ability to be in an upright posture while walking. Further, their hands are designed in a manner just appropriate for doing complex actions such as creating tools. Hominids are categorized into principal categories of the modern-day human, also called as genus, such as Australopithecus and Homo. Australopithecus. One of the earliest remains of hominid fossils were found in East African region. This is a genus, a subcategory of Australopithecus, and aged at around 5.6 million years ago. This smaller brain-sized southern ape has a larger set of back teeth. It was also found that due to their genealogy, their dexterity of hands was limited when compared to Homos. Use of only forelimbs or bipedal locomotion is limited as a large part of their lifetime was spent on trees. The precursors of modern human beings 2. Homo. While human features were developed over a period of time in evolution, which were contributed majorly due to their inbuilt positive feedback mechanism. It indeed slowly yet surely changed the lifestyle they led. However, this had a major impact on the autonomy, as now they were able to walk on their 2 feet, which freed their hands. This not only led to more usage of hands than previously, but also the fact that walking now became more efficient. Around 2.5 million years ago, our Earth witnessed some major changes. These not only included changes in its climate, geographical changes, and the vegetation, but went beyond to an extent that the entire grassland was replaced with dense forests. This was the time that Australopithecus, who were better suited for trees, would now be replaced by genus Homo, who better adapted to drier conditions. In Latin, Homo means man. They developed larger brains while their jaws were reduced and with the smaller teeth and protruded outwards. The new increased brain size meant that these species were more intelligent and had better retention memory power. Several species of Homo habilis, toolmaker, discovered in Africa, Ethiopia and Tanzania. Homo erectus, upright man, discovered both in Africa and Asia. Likely that they migrated from Africa to Asia. This species survived for around 1 million years. Homo heidelbergensis, named after Heidelberg, where fossils were found. Wide distribution found through Asia, Europe and Africa. Homo neanderthalensis, named after fossils discovered in the Neander Valley, occupied Europe, Western and Central Asia. Homo sapiens, thinking man, appears around 45,000 years ago. Modern human beings. Regional continuity model. An important question arises here. How did different species evolve? Well, the rate at which the modern humans evolved in different regions of the world contributed majorly in how these species appeared. For instance, a European looks different from an Asian, who in turn looks different from an African. The difference in features between Homo erectus and Homo heidelberg populations was due to the genus they evolved from. Hence, as the population of these species increased, they evolved into Homo sapiens, although slowly. Replacement model. A section believes that this had its epicenter in Africa. The reason for similarity in genetics and anatomy, and which further replaced the previous form of humans to the modern-day human beings. However, scholars uphold the view that the physical difference among the newly evolved humans are a result of adaptation to the new areas that they have moved into. To sum up, it was the Homo sapiens who populated other parts of the world by moving out of Africa and replaced the existing local Homo sapiens. Early humans, ways of obtaining food. Gathering. Gathering food primarily involved collection of plant foods. These included seeds, nuts, berries, fruits and tubers. While there is not much evidence of gathering of food by early humans, it is majorly assumed. Scavenging. It is very likely that the early humans were scavengers. Scavenging means searching and consuming meat and remains of dead animals which died either due to natural reasons or were killed by other carnivorous animals. Hunting. Early humans probably began hunting around 5 lakhs years ago. Hunting involved killing of animals for food, which required teamwork and planning. This was done by observing, analyzing the animal routes and their behavior before killing them. While large animals were hunted, fishing was another thing which was practiced. Horses, for instance, were killed on a large scale, besides migratory birds and fishes. Early human from trees to cave and open air sites. Various historians, anthropologists and archaeologists in their studies have presented the fact that the early humans visited spots which were vegetation rich. This they concluded by the presence of certain artifacts in these places, such as tools, paintings, sculptures and engravings, etc., which proved that humans travelled to these places in search of food and later moved on. An artifact is an object made by humans. These artifacts, believed to be between 4 lakh to 1,25,000 years, were commonly found in caves and open-air sites. Lazaret Cave in Europe, for instance, is one such evidence where one can discover the shelters built against the cave walls. Besides these, indication of various food sources such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, eggs, and fish are also found here. Interestingly, hearths found in caves were evidence of the controlled use of fire in those days by the humans. Since fire has umpteen advantages and usages, it was also used not only to scare away animals, make tools, cook food, but also to provide heat and light. Early humans, tools. Human tool-making technology and the final tool built are rather advanced when compared with other species. The skillful usage of hands was the result of both anatomical and neurological adaptations by the humans. Moreover, presence of large size, which means sharp memory and complex task performance, led to the development of sophisticated tools by humans. Further, the improvement in hunting techniques and advent of hunting tools like the spear throwers and the bow and arrow in around 35,000 BC accelerated the growth of humans as a society. This was also the time when human colonies had started to develop and use food storage techniques and tools for their benefit. Other noteworthy developments include the sewing of clothes using a sewing needle on animal fur and the engravings on animal bone, antler, ivory, and wood chunks. Modes of communication, language and art. Evolution of language. While there have been an array of species that originated on this planet, it is only the humans who have accomplished the feat of creating their own language for communication with each other. Language evolution in human beings. Hominids or humans use their hand extensively to communicate. These gestures and the hand movements provide a fantastic way to share information with each other. Besides the language, this species also uses other vocal forms to communicate, which is purely sound-based, for instance singing and humming. Initially, human speech began with calls similar to the ones made by primates. These sounds, which were initially small, grew in number to develop into full-fledged language. Art. While language saw in development in the prehistoric era, arts also found its way into the process of evolution of mankind. Nemours' paintings of animals are discovered, aged between 30,000 BC to 12,000 BC in different parts of Europe, clearly support this narrative. The animals that were painted include bison, horses, ibex, deer, mammoths, rhinos, lions, bears, panthers, hyenas, owls. It is believed that these pieces of art and painting of animals were associated with the local customs and even magic. So it is very likely that these paintings were the pre-hunting rituals they practiced and a very powerful technique of passing information and knowledge to the future generation.
Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. Hominoids are species known for their smaller brain. Hominids have brains which are larger in size. Hominids are categorized into principal categories of the modern-day human, also called as genus, such as Australopithecus and Homo. A subcategory of Australopithecus and aged at around 5.6 million years ago. In Latin, Homo means man. They developed larger brains while their jaws were reduced and with the smaller teeth and protruded outwards. The difference in features between Homo erectus and Homo heidelber populations was due to the genus they evolved from. Gathering food primarily involved collection of plant foods. Scavenging means searching and consuming meat and remains of dead animals which died either due to natural reasons or were killed by other carnivorous animals. Hunting involved killing of animals for food, which required teamwork and planning. This was done by observing, analyzing the animal routes and their behavior before killing them. Various historians, anthropologists, and archaeologists in their studies have presented the fact that the early humans visited spots which were vegetation-rich. Hominids or humans used their hand extensively to communicate. These gestures and hand movements provide a fantastic way to share information with each other. While language saw in development in the prehistoric era, arts also found its way into the process of evolution of mankind.